Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about one of the most interesting investing opportunity that can give you an exposure to SpaceX. This stock is not listed in US, NYSE or Nasdaq. It is on the over-the-counter OTC and you can buy it on London Exchange. So let's talk about Filtronics. Filtronics is a small British technology firm that makes the specialist hardware needed to transmit signal between satellites in space and stations on the ground. Their products are inside the system that keeps Starlink's internet satellite connected, and increasingly inside defense and radar equipment too. After a decade of near collapse, a surge in demand for satellite internet infrastructure has transformed this company. This briefing explains what they do, who they work with, how the money is growing, and what risk investors face today. As of YT today, YTD 2026, the return is almost double, 130% up, and they have 2025 revenue of 56 million with a market cap of 900 million. This gives them a PS ratio of roughly 45, which is expensive, but look at the reason why they have such a high PS. So who is Filtronics? So they are a pretty old company. They have their own struggle, as I covered in the intro slide. Founded 50 years ago, Filtronics originally made components for military radios. It went through a brutal period in the early 2000s. The share price fell 99% as the technology bubble burst. But their core skill is making RF frequency amplifier, the component that take a weak signal from a satellite of miles up in the space and boost it to a usable level, and or vice versa. With just 186 people, this is a lean and highly specialized engineering firm. In 2024, they received the King's Award for Enterprise and the UK's highest business honor for their chip design that is now deployed across 5G network worldwide. So they have different markets serve primarily in the space and aerospace. Then they also have presence in the defense and telecom. Let's look at their core technologies. Their cadmium nitrate, SSPS, and E-band and millimeter waves radio frequency. So now let's look at their numbers. So as I said, 2025 they have 56 million revenue reported. That was 100% plus jump over year with the operating profit of 13 million euro. Net profit is 14 million, and they are guiding for the 55 million. This number is very conservative. They already booked the revenue what they have guided for. So just look at the number from 2022 to 2025. So it reaches from 12 million to 16 million to 25 to 56. So total sales income more than double in a single year from 25 to 56. This is exceptional. Let alone with the 186 staff, even more impressive. Net profit grew 28-fold in 3 years from zero point 0.5 million to 14 million. For 2026, management expects roughly flat revenue of 55 million. Catch your breathe year. While the order book for 2025 is already filling up with the 45 million euro SpaceX delivery, the company also has 8.2 million cash in the bank and no serious debt. So financially, very sound company. Uh, no debt, no overly operating expenses I can see so far. So now let's look at what their partnership map is. They have the strategic alliance with SpaceX. They have 5-year supply agreement to provide the amplifier that sits inside the SpaceX Starlink ground station. SpaceX committed to ongoing order for 5 full years, giving Filtronics rare revenue certainty. SpaceX also holds warrants an option to buy their shares equal to 10% of the, making them financial stakeholder, not just a customer. So total orders to date, they have already placed 82 million. Just look at the numbers of the satellite which SpaceX is planning to send it by 2030. I think that number is almost 5x in 2030. Aerospace Prime, they also got a deal of 7 million multi-year deal to supply radio frequency signal component for a European satellite constellation. The customer is unnamed. Common practice in defense space, but the contract demonstrates Filtronics is a trusted by major player beyond SpaceX. This is critical proof of customer diversification. So again, that's a great tailwind for Filtronics. Defense Prime, this is also very important that the 11 million contract they have signed in December 2025 for high performance component used in a military electronic sensor programs. Think radar or signal intelligence. A further 400K deal with a separate European defense customers adds more in a pipeline. As the European defense budget rises rapidly, this revenue stream is growing. UK space agencies, 1.2 million euro government innovation grant from the NSIP, that's your National Space Innovation Program by under the UK government to build the next generation KA band and power amplifier. This amplifier would replace older, less reliable technology in satellite and ground stations. The grant validates Filtronics' roadmap and reduces the R&D cost for Filtronics has to bear itself. So overall, and then they have also a US partner, 8 million contract with undisclosed US partner for advanced satellite communication hardware with deliveries planned for 2027. Adds a fifth distinct revenue relationship and shows the US based demand for Filtronics technology extend well beyond the SpaceX alone. So exceptionally well positioned and great uh, partnerships. Now, SpaceX relationships, just I wanted to deep dive on that because that's the major chunk of the revenue coming in. So the relationship started in 2024. Strategic partnership signed. The first order of 90 million for an E-band amplifier module to supply the Starlink network. SpaceX commits to a 5 year of orders. They received a warrant to buy 25, almost 10% of the Filtronics core once 60 million of orders is reached. So uh, this is a very great incentive, or could be a huge partnership. And then they have another order in June 2024, so that's 32 million. Then in August is 47 million, and then in this summer we are expecting it to do an IPO, and that will somewhere boost up the Filtronics price or shares as well. So the key thing is that the SpaceX relationship is unusual because it keeps getting bigger and more advanced at every step. Contract 1 was 19 million in used existing product. Contract 3 was 62 million in used and brand new next generation technology. In under 18 months, total order from SpaceX exceeded 114 million, more revenue than Filtronics generated in the four prior year combined. So the kind of growth we are seeing from Filtronics is exceptional. So let's look at their key tailwinds. So Leo constellation boom. Leo is a low Earth orbit satellite. Networks are expanding rapidly. One of the other interesting things that we need to realize is that SpaceX has been pioneer in sending out the satellites. So is the Rocket Lab. So there are a lot of companies are enabling the satellite um, operation work. Filtronics managed estimates 7 tons of satellites will be launched every single day over the next decade. Every satellite needs matching ground station hardware and the amplifier Filtronics makes. FCC spectrum deregulation. This is extremely important. In April 2026, FCC, that's your Federal Communication Commission, the US government, voted unanimously to scrape satellite spectrum sharing rules that had not changed since the 1990s. This is the biggest regulatory opening for satellite communication in the generation. More permitted a single power means more demand for the powerful amplifier like Filtronics. European growth defense, NATO government are committing to a significantly higher defense budget following a geopolitical tension. Filtronic signal and sensor component are growing in demand for radars, electronic warfare, communication system, and 11 million European defense contract in the early sign of larger opportunity with more contracts in the pipeline. GaN technology, gallium nitride, is the next generation material that makes Filtronics amplifier more powerful, more efficient, more reliable than the older alternatives. Their proprietary GaN chip won the Kings of Award innovation, is already deployed in the 5G network globally. A genuine technical mode that competitors cannot copy overnight. 5G is from space. 5G NTN non-terrestrial network means using satellite to deliver 5G coverage to aircraft shift remote region where traditional phone towers cannot reach. Filtronic's new Ka-band amplifier, founded by the UK agency, is being built precisely for this market, position them early in what could become a very large revenue. So think about these ASTS. They must be somewhere using this kind of technology. A SpaceX IPO multiplier is SpaceX public listing is expected to trigger a wave of new investment into satellite infrastructure. Estimated 75 billion in the new spending. Filtronic's 5 year supply contract. SpaceX equity stakes means the company doesn't need just benefit indirectly, it is directly wired into the spending surge as the contractually committed supplier. So all of these tailwind structure driven by the long-term technology shift and the government policy, not short-term facts. Filtronic doesn't need all six to materialize at once. Even one or two playing would be likely justified substantial revenue growth over the next 5 years. So amazing positioning of Filtronics and their technology. So let's be a little cognizant about what could go wrong here as well. So Bull already covered record order books, revenue doubled in 1 year. SpaceX is a co-owner. Customer diversification is working, a strong balance sheet, and a lot of regulatory hurdles has been removed. So that's very positive. Very expensive valuation. That is true with most of the growth stock, especially in the hot sector. Insider selling, there are three directors, including CFO and chair, sold their shares simultaneously. That's not a significant portion of their insider selling, but it's still a point to be noted. Customer concentration, again, predominantly it's SpaceX, but we can see from the different deals is on also pathway to have different customers as well. Lumpy revenue income arrives in large infrequent. So this is very common with any hardware companies. So SpaceX IPO delay, this is not a big issue. Sooner or later, it has to be done, and I think it's pretty much done with the paperwork there. SpaceX has filed, uh, so not a risk at all. Current price in the London exchange is 380, and I think in the OTC market is $3. Analyst census is lower than where it is trading, so we may see 5-10% pullback. So ideally, I would like to buy some part of my. I would like to put some money in it, but if it goes below 300, then I will put a big chunk of money in it. Again, high conviction, high stake, but overall this company is positioned really well with so many amazing tailwinds behind it. I think we should definitely put some money in it, and with the SpaceX IPO and the satellite communication and deregulation in satellite spectrum allocation, it's a huge upside chance for Filtronics, and I would like to place an order. So as of today, you can do place an order through something like Interactive Broker or shops. They do provide you the tickers from London Exchange or over the counter. That's all we have for this analysis. Let us know what you think about Filtronics. Comments, recommend your insights if you have any. Happy to take it in another Filtronics call. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you in the next one.